Welcome to ETN Community Spotlight, where we shine the light on a local nonprofit organization. I'm Derrick Silas. Join me as we talk to today's special guest. Carmen, tell me about the history, mission, and purpose of Gaslight Theatre.
Oh, Gaslight is a great organization. We used to be known as Enid Community Theatre.
Okay.
And very shortly after we were put together in the 60s, they changed our name to Gaslight, which is much easier to say than Enid Community Theatre. Gaslight's been around for that long, and we have second and third generation of people who are involved. Gaslight puts on about 9 shows a year. In all different age ranges, and comedies, dramas, musicals, a little bit of everything. And I think what a lot of people don't realize is there's an incredible amount of talent in Enid. And whether it's on stage or behind stage, or really handling the front area with house managing and things like, you know, the centerpieces on the table in the lobby. Just a little bit of everything. All of our actors and backstage people are totally volunteer. The best way to get involved is to go to our website, sign up for the newsletter, find out what's going on. Being an arts organization, we don't have a lot of money to do publicity and stuff like that with, aside from social media and emailing. And but our website is really up to date on current things and what's going on. Our auditions are always posted there, so you can find out when auditions are and that kind of thing. And none of the directors are so, I don't know, unapproachable that you can't call them and say, hey, I was thinking about trying out for your show. You know, how much time are you looking for rehearsal? And, you know, if I get a small part, are there small parts? Or I was thinking about doing this, and, you know, to talk through it. Even if there's a show that you're maybe don't know about, come down to auditions and just, we usually have auditions for 2 nights. And you can always just come by and watch auditions the first night. We've had a few people who came with a friend and the friend wanted to try out. And so they watched the first night, and then the second night, both friends tried out. So bring a family, bring your friend, and come down and either see a show or try out for a show.
Now, how does the audition work? I mean, you do it a month, 2 months in advance?
Usually about 2 months in advance, depending. Musicals take a little bit longer, and then some of the comedies are a little bit shorter if it's a short show. But then, depending upon if you've got a lead where you're on stage all the time, then you're probably looking at most of the week in the evening. Doing set and costuming and stuff like that's worked around schedule. We have some people who say, oh gosh, no, I don't want to be on stage, but I'll help what you need with costumes. And trust me, my grandmother, who was a great seamstress, would just have a fit laughing if she realized what a skill sewing is anymore. We can always use people who know how to sew. So you wouldn't think that, but most people get by with duct tape and staplers anymore, so it's like sewing is a real talent to have. But you can, most of the auditions, unless it's a musical audition, will simply be, you can check out a script from the box office ahead of time, read it, kind of get a feel of what the play's about, and then the director will have people do readings of, you play John Smith and you play Mary Smith, and let's do, you know, these 2 pages. And the directors will kind of say what they're looking for and that kind of thing. So you're not left out in the cold on, you know, like I wouldn't have a clue on what to do. If it's a musical audition, you'll be asked to sing a song, and most people will come prepared. But I have had people who auditioned at the last minute who sang Happy Birthday because they didn't have anything prepared. So there's that. Sometimes if a show requires a lot of dance, then they'll teach the dance to anyone who's interested in trying out for the show, and then after like 10 minutes of working, then they'll all do it together. It's trying to be as little pressure as possible, but we all know that doesn't really work because you're actually getting up in front of people and saying something. So there's a certain amount of stress in that, but it's not usually a high prepare ahead of time. You can come down and just have the thought at the last minute to come down if you want to.
Okay. Now your annual events, what type of annual events do you all have?
We start off the year with our Charlie Awards, which are our equivalent of the Oscars.
Okay.
And we do awards for comedies and dramas and all of that, usually in August. And then the other annual events, we do some type of Christmas show every year, usually family friendly, sometimes musical, sometimes not. We do a children's theater in usually the February timeframe. That's actors performing stories for children. And I've done that every year. I love doing that show because you will never get an audience that's more appreciative than if they're all 30 inches or shorter.
Right.
They're great audiences. The other things that are annual events are we will do Shakespeare in the Park the last weekend in June every year. And we have had 20 years of that. Just you start adding up the number of shows we've done is pretty remarkable. And that is a free to the public event every year in June. Also in June is our children's drama camp. And that is kind of a boot camp thing where kids come in for 4 hours either in the morning or the afternoon. They have 4 weeks after school is out. School's out in May, then in June they have drama camp. And at the end of the end of June, they do a show, usually a musical, okay. And they have done Junior Aladdin, they have done Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, 101 Dalmatians, and it's just amazing how creative and inventive that kids are, and that's elementary school. We also have the Gaslight Teens, which is mostly the age ranges are from middle school through the end of high school. And they do a show every year. So we have a little bit of something for everybody, and you never know if you're going to be, perfect for a comedy or a musical, or there's just all kinds of opportunities out there.
Good. Now, if someone wants seasonal tickets or six-pack tickets, how can they go about that?
Well, we have a lot of people who want to get a little bit better value than just buying one ticket for one event. Mm-hmm. So our season tickets, you can call the box office. We'll be selling those in the summer, and those are for the year of the season shows. You get a price break, basically, of you buy the whole slate of shows, and then out of that you get basically one show free, and you get one ticket for each of those shows. The six-pack also gets a benefit of discounted pricing, but it's effectively, you can say, okay, you and I are going to the first show, so that's 2 off the six-pack. And then there'll be 4 of us. We're going to bring 2 of our friends for the second show, so we'll use them all by the second show. Or some people use them for, it's the ultimate in flexibility because you can use them all 6 for one show, or you can go to 6 different shows. Okay. And get price break on it that way. Those can be bought anytime.
Okay. Now, all of your current events are listed on the website. Mm-hmm. So I guess that's the best way to find anything that's current.
It really is. Okay. The website has got all show dates, ticket prices. You can buy tickets on the web if you want to. And it also has audition dates.
Okay.
So that's always a great idea to get on there.
Okay. Now, I was looking at the website, it was talking about individuals can rent. Mm-hmm. Okay. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Sure. We have a great building. And although we are a very busy community theater, we probably have as many or more shows going than any other community theater in Oklahoma. But there's always times that our theater's not being used. So we'll have people who will rent the auditorium for a business meeting if they know they're going to have people come in, and it seats 250 people. Or we have people who've rented the lobby for wedding showers or some type of event like that. The Turpin small theater seats, depending on how you put the chairs or if you use small tables or not, kind of a cabaret setting. The Turpin is great for, I think the last thing we had in there was a piano recital. It'll seat between 35 and 45 people. And it's just a nice little, maybe slightly better than, you know, another school type classroom that you would be using for that. Some people have rented the whole thing. The Fly Film Festival does their festival. We're one of the events, and we have things going in all of the areas. So that the easiest way to find out about that is call the box office, and you can look at the place and start looking at that, because it's a good facility to do that in.
Okay. Now, volunteer. You have a lot of volunteers there?
We have many volunteers. I think we are a maw waiting for volunteers to come through the door. As I mentioned, our actors are all volunteers. If what you just want to dip your toes in the water and not do, but hand out programs at the next show. There's always a need for that. Our dinner theater that we do every year has volunteer wait staff. So, you know, handing plates out, you know, you can always get in the mix for that. Probably the easiest way to get involved is to get on the website and see what's coming up, or get on the newsletter list so that you'll find out the next opportunities for volunteering, whether it's on stage, in front of the stage, or sewing costumes back in the back somewhere.
Okay. Now, if someone wants to contact or contribute to the organization, how can they do that?
They can also do that online. They can send us a check. Our addresses and all of that kind of thing are on the website. If they walk through the door with money, we will take it too.
Okay. Well, thank you for the information you've given me on Gaslight Theatre, and hopefully I'll be a volunteer one day.
Think about auditioning. You'd be fun. You'd have fun doing it.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.